Welcome to this week's astrology. Now, if you are still in the process of really digesting that eclipse energy, there's going to be a bit of relief coming this week and then next week. So just pay attention to that, particularly if things still feel a little bit tumultuous, if you're still working through a lot of relational energy. Then we're going to have the close of Navaratri this week on the 2nd of October, which is Thursday, and that's known as Dusserah. So you might find that the energy still builds from eclipse season through to Thursday, and then kind of around Friday, there's a bit of relief. There's a bit of space to really digest what you've been learning about yourself, maybe how you've been evolving and changing. So just keep that in mind. This week, the moon is waxing. We like it when the moon waxes. It's equal to it waning, but when it's waxing, we're in the process of our mind stepping into greater enlightenment, greater self realization, and understanding of its self, of self awareness. And that's because we're moving towards a Pisces full moon on the 6th to 7th of October. I'm actually pretty excited about this full moon. It will be next week, and it's in the final lunar mansion. So there are 27 lunar mansions which break up the 12 signs, and this is in a sign called, or in a lunar mansion called Ravati. And Ravati is deeply spiritual. It's really nourishing, so just know that's the energy we're building towards. I'll quickly mention that the Pisces full moon ritual and reading is now live. There's details below. If you're already feeling that full moon energy building, feeling that kind of like soul nourishment coming online, then this is the perfect moon to work with that. It's going to also clear up again a lot of the eclipse energy that's been at play. And the ritual and reading includes a personal written reading, a sacred practice and meditation, which is going to be a deep energy healing, like a purification, um, and an astrology forecast. So let's talk about this week. Today, 28th of September, the moon is in Scorpio, right? It's when it's in Scorpio, it's intense, it's feeling, it can be a little bit paranoid about what it's sensing, but it's very intuitive. And it will be in a part of Scorpio called Jyeshta Nakshatra, Jyeshta Lunar Mansion, from 5:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and on the 27th, so Saturday evening at 8:39 p.m. CEST, or Central European Time, and 2:39 p.m. on Saturday at New York time. Now, the moon is going to be sitting with Medusa, the goddess of boundaries, as well as Shiva. This is a day today that can bring change, transformation. It can make it a little bit difficult because it's like the soul is asking you to let go of something you've been holding on to. Let go of a thought, a pattern, and this pattern can particularly relate to the personal boundaries that you keep with other people. Maybe the times you say yes, but you really mean no. Even the times where you worry that someone's going to ask something from you and you don't know how to have the words to just put in a boundary and say, yeah, no, I can't do that. So just pay attention to that. It's like this moon is really asking for that energy to shift. You can also find that this is a day where it seemingly looks as if things aren't going your way, but don't make a judgment upon that. So particularly if you're in with friends or in a social gathering, or even if you're involved in something which has got more of a humanitarian edge to it, or it's involved with social impact, it can feel like, oh, but I'm not getting what I want, or this isn't going as I planned it. Just know that judgment's not right. Today, it can feel like that is the case, but actually, the universe is teaching you through that judgment that no, that's not true. You're just not seeing the bigger picture. There's actually an opportunity through things not going the way you want them to actually turn out even better than you could possibly plan. It can also be a day where you really need to let go of stories around being a victim. So just notice, because that can be really subtle, of the places where you feel you have to say yes to something when actually it's a no, of the places then when you put someone on red because you don't want them to ask you for something. It's like you've given too much. Just pay attention to those stories. And you can find out that really gets strong when the moon moves into its Gandanta position, which will be towards the end of its time in Jyeshta. So Gandanta represents the karmic knot. And that karmic knot is going to really take us through Sunday into Monday. So just notice if things start to feel a little bit unsettled, like the body's getting flooded with emotion that it thought maybe it had dealt with, particularly emotions around personal boundaries. This is the moon moving into Gandanta. And the exact timing for the Gandanta, if you want to write it down, is going to be from on the 29th. This is for Sydney first, for Australian Eastern Standard Time. It will be on the 29th. So Monday morning from 3:06 a.m. until 3 p.m. So that will be a full day of quite intense emotions on Monday. In Europe, it will be from today at 7:06 p.m. until 7 a.m. on Monday. And in Eastern Daylight Time, so East Coast of America, that will be 1:06 p.m. today to 1 a.m. on Monday. This is going to be really intensely emotional, and do your best to try and not push that onto the people around you, but to see that that's almost the body trying to release something that it's been holding on to, that this Jyeshta moon is setting off. And I would just not be surprised if that has to do with personal boundaries in friendships and relationships, being feeling like you've got to say yes to something, but really it's an internal no. The more you can be honest to that voice, the easier this Gandanta will be. Now, as we hit Monday, um, in Australia and in Europe in the morning, the moon will still be Gandanta. So just know it can be like a flooding of emotions that's still coming up. And it can really be, while the moon is in that position, a day where there's a lot being released. There's a lot of emotion coming up and a lot of intense emotion. Because the moon is moving from a water sign to a fire sign, it can feel a little bit like that steam that happens when water and fire come together, but internally, it's like those emotions, like sadness and anger coming up together to create that steam. So just being mindful until 3 p.m. if you're in Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. in Europe, and it will be at just after midnight in New York that the moon moves out of that difficult position. And as it does, actually just before that, it will move into Sagittarius. So it will still be Gandanta as it's moving through the beginning of Sagittarius. But for Monday, along with that flooding of emotion, um, it will be sitting in a part of Sagittarius called Mula Nakshatra, which will align the moon with the galactic center, the womb at the center of creation. And I'm going to be running a course actually on the galactic center coming up, where we'll be using self-inquiry and meditation to go into that energy because it lives within us and it's the point of oneness. Now, that means that today, Monday, regardless of all the emotion coming up, it's a great day to get to the bottom of things. It's a great day to see what needs to be pruned in your life, where you need to release, as well as where problems need to be solved, and maybe like what's lurking at the heart, what's the issue. The watch out for Monday is that Mula can be a little bit destructive. This part of Sagittarius can be a little bit destructive. So it's best used, the energy is best used to like break things down into different pieces. Just be really careful as you're doing that, that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It might look like that's the case, particularly while the moon is Gandanta, till 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. in Europe, and it will be at 1 a.m. in New York, but it's not the case. It's more like breaking things apart. Just be careful that you're not being self-destructive in the process of breaking things apart. You can use Monday to really get to the heart of a problem that you've been dealing with during eclipse season. So think from the 7th to 8th of September. Maybe there's something that's still lurking there, something that's been coming up and down and up and down that's asking for resolution. Particularly if this has to do with friends that live overseas, long distance relationships you might be in, whether that's intimate or friendship, relationships with mentors, with teachers, with bosses, or with your father or father-like figure. This is a day which can help get you to the bottom of what is going on. Also on Monday, Mercury is going to still be in Virgo, but it's going to enter a part of Virgo called Chitra, Nakshatra. And Chitra sits across Virgo and Libra. So Mercury will be in a part of Chitra in part of Chitra that's in Virgo until Thursday, and then it will move into Libra from that point, and it will be in Chitra until the 7th of October. That means that you can find until Thursday, while Mercury is in the Virgo ruled part of Chitra, that there's clarity around money, around values, around issues maybe with legal contracts or contracts around possessions, communication around possessions, or the ownership of something that you hold. You can find this as a period of time where maybe you're discussing ownership or the transfer of ownership or the creation of a new entity, the creation of a new business, a new possession, a new way of caring for your finances, even something you want to make. You might want to talk about the process today with someone else, particularly if you want to bring them in to help you or you just want a sounding board. This can also be a nice Monday where, even though the emotion is intense, the intellect can be receiving news of being valued by other people. You might find you get recognition for something that you've done, someone clapping you or patting you on the back for something that you've achieved. So just enjoy that, soak that up, particularly while the moon and the emotions are quite intense. Now, on Tuesday, the moon is going to continue in Sagittarius and it will be slowly moving out of Mula, which is all about getting to the bottom of things, into Purva Ashada, another part of Sagittarius, another lunar mansion. Now, you can find that this day stirs up a lot of relational energy, particularly with teachers, with students, with your father, with figures of authority or your boss. Or if you have a partner or a friend that's living overseas, this can be the big focus of this day. It's a moon that can bring strength, it can bring connection, and even a reinvigoration of these relationships. There can be a desire even to regenerate, to rebuild the energy around these relationships if they felt a little bit strained. And there can even be this ability to just kind of go with the flow. Just know that if you have been finding it hard to be flexible in these relationships, today can help you with that, really help you see the other person's perspective. It's a moon also. Purvarashada wants to always connect us to the ocean, to water, to our spirituality at a higher level. So it can be a day where you find that you're deeply connected to the ocean or to water or to friends or intimate lovers or relations that live over the seas. It can feel expansive. It can bring opportunities to connect with these people, and particularly even connecting or reconnecting or forging a connection with someone who has a very different background to you. If you're traveling today, it's a great day to do that, whether that's by car or train or by airplane. Now, on Monday, we're in October. It's the 1st of October. The moon it will be moving from Sagittarius to Capricorn today. So it's still got a lot of that expansive energy from Monday. It's definitely an easier day than Monday. And it will be moving into Uttara Ashada, which is a nakshatra that sits across Sagittarius and Capricorn. It will be sitting with Pluto today. So that's the mind. The mind will be sitting with the underworld. So it can really bring stuff up that's been hidden. There can be a lot of subconscious energy that comes up. I feel like the gift of this day, of Wednesday, is really being able to see your shadow, seeing the things that you've been maybe projecting onto other people that's really your stuff to own, and it can help you clean that up. Particularly when it comes to work and your responsibilities, that's going to be a big focus for today. If you've been expecting changes in your workplace, in your job, in your role with your responsibilities, today can bring it. Um, it can bring up a bit of a shake-up or a shift, which can be quite transformational in how you see the work that you're here to do or the responsibilities that you've got. What's really nice is that the moon today is going to be there to help you, to really help you achieve and to overcome obstacles. You might even find that on Wednesday you kind of feel like unchallengeable, like you've got this, you know what you're doing in your work, you know what you're doing with your responsibilities, and it can bring you to some kind of height within your career, something that you've been looking to do, looking to bring about. Just know it might not look the way you expect it to look. You can find that you receive some recognition for the work that you've been doing, even if that's as small as someone sending an email to you or a message or telling you face to face you've done a great job, through to a promotion. And there can be a call for some of us to really step into greater leadership in our responsibilities and in our work. Know whatever you're given today, whatever that is, it cannot be taken away from you. It is yours for now. Um, and just because of the moon, I'd be saying as well, this is something that can also be literally placed right in your hands. So keep your hands open today. Be open to the interesting places where opportunities in your work and career come from. The little news that might be something much bigger, which is really to push you forward in the work that you're doing, and help promote you. Now, the afternoon is going to be a little bit intense. There's all that beautiful energy, that energy of victory, but we're heading into the end of Navaratri towards Dusserah, the final day, or the final day of Navaratri, the 9 nights of the goddess. The 9 nights the goddess has been fighting the ego. And then we step into the final day where there is victory over Maha Asura, or the ego, the identity. So just know that in the afternoon, because the tithi, or the timing for Navaratri, will start on Wednesday afternoon, things can start to feel quite big, quite significant. And like for me, whenever Dusserah comes around, the energy is so big, I almost just want to take a nap. So, yes, there's victory in work and responsibilities, and there will be material victory, but know that there's something deeper going on. It's the soul is burning much brighter. It's bringing things to light. And so you might find you just need to have an afternoon nap or just take it a bit slower. Now, as we hit Thursday, that's kind of the energy I've been hinting at. Thursday, the 2nd of October, we have Dusserah, or the end of Navaratri. Now, the tithi, or the timing for Dusserah, it will start on the 1st of October, Australian Eastern Standard Time at 11:31 p.m. And it will go to 11:40 p.m. on the 2nd, on Thursday. In Europe, it will start at 3:31 on Wednesday, and it will go till 9:31 a.m. uh, on the 2nd, on Thursday. And sorry, it will start at, take that back. In Europe, it will go from 3:31 p.m. on the 1st until 3:40 p.m. on the 2nd. And in America, in New York time, it will go from 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, so you'll be feeling it the whole day, until 9:40 a.m. on the 2nd. Now, Dusserah, Thursday, huge energy. Like I just said before, it represents the slaying of Maha Asura, the great Asura, which is the ego, the identity self, by the Devi, by the soul. And the energy can be massive. It will build upon yesterday's moon. It's this energy of like the soul having victory over the ego, knowing that the soul created the ego in order to have victory over it. It's part of its leela, it's part of its game, its dance, part of the dance that we get to do in this life. And it's really reminding you that regardless of if there's victory in your work or your responsibilities or you receive recognition, the ultimate victory is self realization. And there is no way to avoid that victory. So just know that. Now, the moon on Thursday, it will be in Uttara Ashada. So it's got that real energy of like personal victory, of giving you something that will last, something that will carry you through. And it will move from Uttara Ashada into Shravana, which is in Capricorn, at 1:44 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Australian Eastern, sorry, daylight time. Oh, sorry, Australian Eastern Standard Time. I take that back. On Thursday, 5:44 a.m. in Europe and 11:44 p.m. on the 1st in New York. Now, when the moon moves into Shravana on Thursday, it's really calling for you to get quiet. It's calling for you to listen, to even assume that you don't know and that you might be wrong. It's a really big one for the ego. It wants you to hear what's really being said, to hear what maybe you've been missing from the wisdom that the universe has been trying to give you. And this type of listening can involve listening to a teacher, hearing words on a page that's been written by someone that maybe has walked the path that you are walking and has advice for you. Can even be listening to a podcast or to a spiritual teaching. It's normally a very deeply spiritual time, and it will be going through to Friday. So just know this energy of listening. It's Thursday and Friday. Um, and it really can find that there's this seeking energy, seeking answers by listening, even a desire to travel a different path, to simply not conform to what everyone else is doing. Now, the moon rules Shravana. So it's really strong. The mind is really strong in this position, which we like. You can find that this is a day that brings you a new path, a new opening, a new opportunity, and even something physical you need to listen to start that chapter. Now, at the same time on Thursday, Mercury, which I mentioned before, will be moving into Libra. It will be in Libra until the 24th of October. It will still be in Chitra until the 7th of October. So we're in this really, the intellect, which is Mercury, is really creative, really inspired. And as it moves into Libra, it's still inspired and creative, but it's looking for a partner to create with. It also can get really interested in truth, in law, in what is fair, what is not fair, and want to express itself in those ways. It can be a time where you maybe want to speak, tell others about what you see, what you're seeing, what you're observing, maybe what you've been hearing, where there is fairness, where there's not fairness. And it can also deal with legals and contracts and the creation of something which is fair. It can also be a time while Mercury is in, particularly in Chitra until the 7th, but in the Libra part of Chitra until the 7th of October, really a time of negotiation, of even creating equality with someone else or balance in the relationships that you've got. It can be the perfect time for negotiation, for the start of something new, for the starting of for a signing of a contract with someone else, even conceptualizing an idea that you want to create with a partner or even with someone supporting you. Now we get to Friday, the 3rd of October. The 3rd of October is all about connection, which feels right. It's Venus Day. The moon is going to be in Capricorn, and it will be in Shravana until 2:05 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, until 6:06 a.m. in Europe, and midnight in New York. While it's in Shravana, we're still carrying through the energy of Thursday of listening. From that point in time, though, it will move into Dhanishta, still in Capricorn. And Dhanishta is all about moving to the beat of your drum, moving to the beat of the heart, really honoring what is true for you on Friday. Still being in connection, it can bring you new connections, but it's like that you meet them because you're following your own rhythm, following your own beat, following what's true for you. And it can be a moon on Friday that really wants to bring people together. It can bring about social connections, new friendships, new intimate relationships, new work friends. You can even find that you're somehow the center of attention as that's going on. It can even bring you, I'd be paying attention, new career connections. People maybe you have worked with in the past, people you might work with in the future will appear to you today. Added to that, there's the opportunity to meet people where there might be the possibility of working together or creating something together. So keeping your mind open to that. At the same time, Venus is going to be conjunct the South Node. I kind of like this energy, honestly. It's very big relational energy, but it can indicate that those people coming into your life today have a past life connection to you, that they're here for your own realization. They're here to crack you open to your soul mastery. So I'd be saying really pay attention to who shows up on Friday, who wants to connect with you, who phones you, who messages you, who maybe even you just randomly run into. They've got a past life connection with you. And they might be suggesting or helping you crack open some of your soul mastery. It can also be a day, really, while Venus is conjunct the South Node, which we'll be feeling the entire week, but it will peak on Friday on her day. You can find that this is a day where you also get to tune into the relationship you have to yourself, really connecting with what you value and listening to your body. And a really big theme that comes through Fridays, Saturdays, this idea of like just noticing, where are you moving in your life from a state of loneliness, from a state of, even connecting with people because you don't want to be alone or you don't want to be with yourself. Just really, it's going to be bigger on Saturday, but just you'll start to feel it today too. Other thing going on Friday, Mercury will be square Jupiter. So just be really careful on not getting hung up on semantics or details. It can be hard to see the big picture on Friday, and it can be a little bit frustrating. You might even find that the people around you kind of getting caught up on semantics, but you're all saying the same thing. So just be aware of that. Saturday, we finish the week, 4th of October. It's a big day for healing. The moon is in Aquarius and it will be in Shatabishak Nakshatra, which is rebellious. It's honest and it really wants to do what it wants to do, even if that means it's a bit of an outlier. Added to that, the moon will be with Rahu, the north node, which actually rules Shatabishak, making Saturday a very powerful day. It can feel like a day of new beginnings, a new chapter, and particularly related to healing, particularly the physical body. If you've had any strain or issues or illness around the physical body, or it can bring about a bit of a healing crisis for the physical body where you need to pay attention to yourself and really, what do I need right now? What is my body trying to tell me? What direction does it want me to go? It's really asking for you to tune into the body and just be aware, because the North Node can push us up into the mind and have us overthinking. We want to get into the body and ground here. Um, this is a moon that can really help with difficult karmas, and give us insight into how we need to heal, whether that's energetic healing, spiritual healing, or physical healing. It can give us the medicine to help, and it can give us lots of different options for what we need to do in order to help ourselves. Just know if you find that today you have a bit of a healing crisis, and that can be like mentally, like just getting to that point, you're like, what do I need to do? Or, physically, like you find that the body is just brings something up for you, you need to pay attention. Know that that's very lucky. You're being pointed, that healing crisis will bring about resolution, and it's helping to get you to focus on what medicine you really need. Today also in the, sorry, Saturday also in that energy of healing, we have Mercury opposed Chiron. I touched upon that with Friday. It means we need to really deal with a wounding or an illness. It can be around the throat. It can deal with the places you don't speak up, where you've abandoned yourself in relationships, in conversations, where you find it hard to listen, and also maybe where you feel your own fear, your own ability to lead. Just really pay attention to today, because the energy coming up can very much be having you feel like you're alone, like you're lonely, like you need someone else with you. Um, and no, you actually don't. What you need to do is go within and see what that is about, where that abandonment wound is coming from. Because very often, when that sense of loneliness is coming up, it's because we abandon ourselves. We look for others to distract ourselves from really hearing what we want to tell ourselves. So if you can, listen and be open to new cures, new medicine, a new way of approaching your own healing journey. We also have quite a big movement from Saturn happening on Saturday, and he rules Saturday, right? So it's perfect. Saturn is retrograde, and he's going to re-enter Purva Bhadrapada, still in Pisces, and he'll be in the fourth part of this nakshatra until the 20th of January 2026. This part of Pisces is ruled by the moon. And if you think back to the 29th of March this year to the 28th of April, we're getting a repeat of the themes that were coming up for you then. Normally, it's themes that are deeply ancestrally karmic. They can have to do with the structure of your life, even the karma, the difficulty, the kind of tension that you were dealing with at that point can be being revisited now. There's still something for us to learn about that. It does feel deeply spiritual. And it's an energy, it's interesting, right? It's an energy that actually wants to support you, and it wants to support the world. It wants to bring out inner purification. So no mistakes that Saturday is all about healing, because healing is about purification, and that's what Saturn will be doing through to the 20th of January next year. It's really about letting go of motives that are selfish, even when we don't realize they're selfish or they're self centered and they're not honest or truthful to this. It can really call for you between Saturday and the 20th of January to be very dharmic in your actions, very honest, very truthful, and it can give you the spiritual fire to feel reconnected to the divine, particularly if you've been feeling a bit disconnected. As Saturn is retrograde during this period, um, it can really feel like you're going back in time, going back to April. What is it that you didn't address in April that needs to be looked at, that needs to be understood? What wasn't put to bed at that time? And for me, when I look at Saturn being in Pisces, it doesn't have to be something material. It can be like a thought, a pattern, a way of understanding your spirituality that maybe like you didn't fully get to the answer, you didn't fully access the wisdom, and now we're going back to get that. It feels like today in particular, the energy can be really liminal, spiritual and esoteric, and just know if you're going through a healing crisis with this Saturn positioning today, it can really be a day of purging, of releasing, and of purifying. You might find there are dreams and premonitions that come with it. Um, and just know that because Jupiter rules Pisces, and it also rules Purvabhadrapada, this lunar mansion, you can find until mid-October, there's actually a really big focus on belonging, on the Divine Mother, your connection to the Divine Feminine, on protection, love, and caring, and really how you feel nurtured by your spirituality. So that's this week's astrology. I really hope that this supports you each day of this week, to understand the energy, to be able to ground in your cosmic nature, to learn a bit more about it. And if you want to dive deeper, my books are open for October for one-on-one readings. I will be back in Australia. So we can dive deeper into your chart, what's happening for the coming year, or just if you want to understand the Vedic underpinnings of your natal chart. And added to that, if you just want to get a bit of a taste for this type of astrology, you can join me for the Pisces Ravati Nakshatra full moon ritual and reading. The details are all below. I'm wishing you a wonderful week.